Let's take a look at 4 stories that have been going viral recently and comment on them from a Christian perspective. The last one is absolutely shocking. At number 4 is the Maui wildfire. There is a catastrophic wildfire that struck the Hawaiian island of Maui. With its toll rising, it has been recognized as the 5th deadliest wildland fire in US history. The fire initiated on August 8th, making swift progress across Maui, Hawaii's 2nd largest island. In under a week, this wildfire has surpassed death counts from some of California's most destructive fires in recent years. This includes the Camp Fire of 2018 that took 85 lives and left the town of Paradise in ruins. The death toll has risen alarmingly, with Maui's emergency officials confirming 96 fatalities. These figures are expected to grow as many remain unaccounted for. Yet what sparked this tragic fire remains under investigation. Like many vast wildland fires in the US, the Maui blaze was propelled by a combination of drought-affected landscapes and strong winds. Photos emerging from the aftermath showed charred cars and buildings, particularly in Lahaina, western Maui. The devastation was so profound that it was likened to a war zone by local authorities. In terms of natural disasters, the Maui fire has now been designated as Hawaii's deadliest. This grim title was previously held by the 1960 tsunami, triggered by a 9.5 magnitude earthquake in southwest Chile, which resulted in 61 deaths. Maui County Mayor Richard Bisson expressed that he had never witnessed devastation of this magnitude. The Maui wildfire is without a doubt one of the most significant events in Hawaii's history, becoming one of the deadliest natural disasters the state and the US have ever faced. As the nation grapples with the aftermath, efforts are underway to provide survivors with the resources and support they need in these trying times. As Christians, let's be in prayer for all who are suffering because of this wildfire, and for people to find hope through the gospel of Jesus Christ. At number 3 is the disturbing and bizarre story and death hoax regarding Lil Tay, a girl who went absolutely viral when she was just 9 years old, largely because she was used and exploited by her brother and mother to display the persona of a young rich who used lots of profanity.
$10,000? I have $100,000 on my wrist. $10,000 ain't nothing, you broke ass.
Okay, this girl is 9 years old. She has no idea how much money is actually worth. $10,000 is quite a bit of money.
Obviously, this kind of behavior from such a young girl is extremely disturbing. And take a look at her older brother coaching her about what to say.
But it's not just her mom. Green screen footage has also leaked of her 16-year-old brother coaching her on what exactly to say.
This cost me $10,000 and this—
I said stop saying 10,000, 2,000, 3,000, 2,500.
Okay. Lil Tay be popping on YouTube right now.
You're gonna be like more ignorant.
In a disturbing tweet, in early August 2023, the internet was abuzz with rumors of Lil Tay's untimely death. The news was first reported by a post on Lil Tay's Instagram account, which read, "It is with a heavy heart that we share the devastating news of our beloved Claire's sudden and tragic passing. We have no words to express the unbearable loss and indescribable pain," the statement posted on Instagram on Wednesday read. "This outcome was entirely unexpected and has left us all in shock. Her brother's passing adds an even more unimaginable depth to our grief," the statement on Wednesday continued. "During this time of immense sorrow, we kindly ask for privacy as we grieve this overwhelming loss, as the circumstances surrounding Claire and her brother's passing are still under investigation. Claire will forever remain in our hearts, her absence leaving an indescribable void that will be felt by all who knew and loved her." This news set off a chain reaction, with fans and critics alike expressing shock, grief, and confusion. However, as more people began delving into the specifics of the alleged incident, certain aspects didn't add up. The initial reports claimed she had succumbed to injuries following an accident, yet there were details that positioned the event in locations where Lil Tay wasn't confirmed to be present. Further adding to the confusion was the glaring absence of confirmations from close acquaintances, family members, or any credible news outlets. Sharp-eyed netizens and a few investigative enthusiasts began piecing together the discrepancies and inconsistencies in the story. Social media platforms, especially Twitter and Reddit, became grounds for live discussions and debates around the authenticity of the claims. As the debates intensified, it became apparent that no verifiable source could corroborate the tragic story. The realization soon dawned on many that they were witnessing one of the most egregious death hoaxes in recent memory. On Thursday, 10th of August, TMZ claimed Lil Tay wasn't dead and had reportedly received a statement from her via her family. In the statement, the viral star said, "I want to make it clear that my brother and I are safe and alive, but I'm completely heartbroken and struggling to even find the right words to say. It's been a very traumatizing 24 hours. All day yesterday, I was bombarded with endless heartbreaking and tearful phone calls from loved ones, all while trying to sort out this mess." The internet star went on to say her Instagram account had been hacked, and her account was used to spread jarring misinformations and rumors. I'm very glad that this girl is still alive, and my prayer is that the people in her life would point her towards the truth of the gospel, rather than pointing her towards sin and greed for the sake of monetary gain.
Our children don't have to be exposed to the most graphic and vile things of the world in order for them to recognize and be aware of the fact that there are graphic and vile things out there that they should flee from, and in fact, shouldn't even open their minds to. That's the way we should act towards sin. That's the way we should treat sin. So don't you ever apologize for sheltering your children. I believe we're commanded to shelter our children. Amen? Don't you ever apologize.
At number 2 is the controversy surrounding the new Snow White movie, especially concerning the lead actress, Rachel Zegler. Here is Zegler talking about the original Snow White being completely out of date and the new movie getting rid of the love story.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
Snow White is running for president.
I'm launching my campaign. I am.
And here is Zegler again proudly saying that the new Snow White movie is no longer a love story and that the male lead in the story is basically unnecessary.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story. With a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
So no prince or a different kind of prince?
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie. Right. Andrew Burnap, great dude. Yeah. It's one of those things that I think everyone's going to have their assumptions about what it's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
Of course, Rachel Zegler and the people making this new Snow White movie have the right to do whatever they want. However, they should not be surprised at all to discover that an enormous number of people do not believe that concepts such as love and men leading and protecting women are merely old-fashioned concepts that are no longer relevant today.
No, women hate women. The people who hate women more than anybody else on this planet are feminists. They hate women. They want women to be men.
At number 1 is the new Georgia indictment of former President Donald Trump. Let's take a look at some of the charges against Trump, and then I'll make some comments about it.
In a sweeping, nearly 100-page indictment, former President Donald Trump, the leading candidate for the 2024 Republican nomination, was indicted today for trying to overturn his loss to Joe Biden in Georgia in the last election, a state Trump lost to Joe Biden by just under 12,000 votes.
All elections in our nation are administered by these states, which are given the responsibility of ensuring a fair process and an accurate counting of the votes. The state's role in this process is essential to the functioning of our democracy.
It is a 40-count felony indictment.
Yeah, and Rachel,
Georgia.
Should we touch on just some of the crimes listed?
Yes.
It begins with the RICO Act. That's the big one, and it is broad in the state of Georgia. So you have an alleged violation of the Georgia Racketeer Influencing and Corrupt Practices Act. You have something we just discussed moments ago, solicitation of violation of oath of office. That is, we believe, connected to Donald Trump's personal involvement in recorded calls to state officials. We have several false statement charges that echo something we've seen in other cases.
What do I think about all these indictments against Donald Trump? While I believe that Trump has certainly exhibited some very bad behavior, and probably even did break some laws regarding his handling of classified documents, I am far more concerned by what I view as impartiality within the DOJ and the American justice system. It seems that the DOJ is actively working extremely hard to punish Donald Trump, and at the same time, it is also working extremely hard to protect Democrats such as Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. If the DOJ treated all criminal behavior the same, then I would be more inclined to trust the American justice system. But the very clear reality is that the DOJ is being weaponized against particular groups of people, and it is being used to protect particular groups of people.
There's people going to jail now. You said you have to take, responsibility, and they are taking responsibility. But they are being unjustly held. 11 years in prison is insanity. It's a misdemeanor, if that.
For what are you talking
for the abortion, the FACE Act? Have you?
No.
Oh, you haven't heard this?
No.
So
I live in Africa.
Yeah, I know you live in Africa. So the FBI has rounded up 11 or 12 people now. One of them is like an 84-year-old grandmother who was praying at the entrance of an abortion clinic. At the time, the abortion clinic came and told them they had to go. Some of them were hit with a misdemeanor for trespassing, I think. And it was over 2 years ago. The DOJ has started opening up cases now of those misdemeanors that were just misdemeanor and dismissed. And they are now charging them with a FACE Act, which is blocking the entrance. And they are facing 11 years.
Wow.
Our government is completely out of control.
Wow.
Two things can be true at once. Donald Trump pretty obviously violated classified document statutes. They have him basically dead to rights on those charges. I mean, he literally said on tape, folks, legal advice, never do the criming on tape. He literally said on a tape, here are classified documents. I could have unclassified them. I didn't declassify them. You should look at them, right? I mean, that is doing the crime on the tape. So, should he be prosecuted or not? Well, in any normal circumstance, the answer would be yes, sure, why not? Of course, if you commit a crime, you should be prosecuted for the crime. The problem is, once James Comey let Hillary Clinton off the hook for crimes, at that point, the answer becomes no. And the answer becomes no because if only one side has to play by the rules, then the rules are not rules, they are just a double standard, they are just a weapon. And the same thing is happening right here.
As Christians, we have plenty of reasons right now to have very little trust in our federal government.
Government has already become the purveyor of wickedness. Government is a murderer, slaughtering millions of infants in abortion, elevating the LGBTQ agenda, the bizarre deception. The culture has become anti-truth. We all know that. The truth is the biggest threat to lies. William Pitt, well-known name in English history, said this: necessity, i.e. public health, common good, is the plea of every infringement of human freedom. It is the argument of tyrants. Get people afraid and they'll do whatever you want. A fearful society will always comply. Panicking people will believe anything.
At the same time, Christians, we should not become discouraged because we serve a sovereign God who will, on the last day, punish all evil and reward all righteousness.
And I want you to know that in the midst of whatever that fear and anxiety is, that we serve a God who hears and who remembers and who sees and who knows. And if you ever want a picture of both how this works and why this works, look to the cross, because this God sends his only begotten Son to the cross to redeem sinners. And Christ dies on the cross. He suffers on the cross, forsaken there on the cross. And God the Father heard and remembered his covenant and saw and knew, not only from the perspective of Jesus who is enduring the cross, but from the perspective of those of us for whom Christ is enduring the cross. And in the cross, God says to us all, no matter what it is that you're enduring, I hear,
I remember, I see, and I know, and I am working out your redemption. And I am so committed to your redemption that I crushed and killed my only begotten Son on the cross so that your redemption could be guaranteed. And whatever it is that you're afraid of, whatever it is that you're enduring, it ain't bigger than a dead Jesus. And if God can raise Christ from the dead because of and in order to demonstrate his commitment to the redemption of his people, then he can bring you through whatever it is that's causing you this fear and this anxiety. Because God always rescues his people. Sometimes from, sometimes through, but always for his glory and for our good.
Thank you so much for watching. If you like these videos and want to help support this channel, the best way to do it is to just watch these videos until the end and click the subscribe button. Thank you so much for your support and encouragement.